This is Eric Rattan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew McKay Smith.
Thanks so much for joining me. I've got a deep and revealing conversation to share with you featuring the man who was out front of Enuff's Enuff for many years, Mr. Donnie Vie. The catalyst for the chat is due to the launch of Donnie's new single, Party Time, and the Donnie Vie Collection, a limited edition USB or flash drive containing 5 or 6 of Donnie's studio albums and EPs. We touch on the music, but this chat is far more notable for the manner in which Donnie opens up and talks about his battle with anxiety. It's inspirational to hear Donnie talk about such things, as I myself have struggled with anxiety for many years, and I'm sure many of you listening can relate. So here he is, Donnie Vie. Donnie, we made it.
All right, we made it. Yeah, I went on that link. I think somebody sent me a fucked up link, but it said your thing at the bottom, Scars, Guitars, or whatever. But I was, could you see me logging on and off?
No. So I logged on at my time for the schedule, and what I normally do is, because it happens occasionally, I'll wait 15 minutes, and then when you didn't show up, I thought, okay, you might have other things to do. That happens, and then Michael sent me an email saying at because it's 4:30 here in the morning, it's 5 o'clock now, but saying you were in the chat room or in the Zoomer, and I logged on and I think, no, I couldn't see you. But then he was in there. He joined me. So never mind, mate.
Might have been a fucked up link or something somebody had sent me, because I tried the next link that Michael just sent me. I sent it to myself over my email, and then that one worked. So something was up over there. It was goofy.
Mate, it
I'm
happens.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I feel like shit today.
Tell me what's been going on.
So bad. Oh man, my anxiety's through the roof today. Then this didn't fucking help me.
No, I get anxiety too. I get anxiety too, Donnie.
Mine's paralyzing. It's crippling. You know what I mean? Some days I'm white knuckling it, grinning, bearing it, faking through it. You know what I mean? But there's some days, man, where I can't even do that. It's so horrible. But you have that too, huh?
Oh, I do, mate. Yeah, it's fucking horrible, mate. I take something called Inderal, which calms my nerves. I don't know whether you've heard of that drug, but it actually does work. I work 9 to 5, mate. I've got a lot of responsibilities, 2 kids. I do a lot of these interviews, and some days, I'll admit now, mate, I've used drinking alcohol to try to manage the anxiety, the stress I have. And,
I quit drinking, and I just don't. When I try that, I just start feeling shitty and stuff. You know what I mean? I just turn off all the lights and lay in the dark and hope something doesn't attack me. You know what I mean? I feel like something's going to get me.
Is it
like what do you think? Hands?
Yeah, I get the same thing. Yeah,
my eyes are spinning and shit.
What do you think the catalyst was that caused it?
Oh, I'm starting. I've been trying to figure that out for years. To me, it seems like that just is random. It just happens for no. I guess psychologically there might be something triggering it, but not that I know of. You know what I mean? Everything's great today. Everything's fine. It just happened. My brain just went wacky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. It's a horrible affliction, and it's something that I've had panic attacks in front of rooms full of people. And it's the 2 most embarrassing moments of my life when that happened. But I don't take it personally from the perspective that I think it's something that happened to me, not something that I caused, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know. I'm not ashamed of it. It's just I feel humiliated and ashamed of the symptoms that I'm showing, and then and then I get in my head. You know what I mean? And then it just unwinds like a watch spring. It's just boom. Yeah. But it comforts me to know that you got it too, and you understand what's up. You know what I mean? So I kind of feel a bond right now. My glasses broke yesterday, so I can't see anything. I like to hide behind them. I don't know why these headphones I don't know why the ear pods weren't working, but it's okay. Can you edit this stuff?
Of course I can. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you can edit out all this bullshit. All right, good. I do like to.
Though this stuff, I mean, I will never include anything you don't want me to include. God, I consider myself a vault of rock and roll secrets, let me tell you. But sharing these sorts,
I don't care if you want to show this. This would probably be. I'm trying to think of something. I want to start some awareness for mental health here in the country, because they don't care about them. That there's no really attention or any energy given to mental health. They just let people out there, and then think that they're pieces of shit when they fucking fall apart and can't take care of themselves, or they're yelling at cars and shit like that. You know what I mean? So I would like to do something on awareness for this stuff. So I don't care if you leave this in, it'll at least be different than the other interviews, Yeah.
Well, I think it's very brave of you to feel comfortable with that, because I mean, if you're comfortable with it, I'd like to, because people need to understand that if someone like Donnie V has these issues, mate, anybody has these issues.
I've had them my whole life. That's why I used to drink and shit like that, and do blow and shit like that, just to give me like confidence or courage and stuff when I'm scared to death. But everybody just viewed that as I'm just an irresponsible fuckhead who's fucking everything up and stuff, instead of, I didn't really know what my condition was at that time. I just thought everything that I knew and the way I felt about it, I was ashamed, and I tried to hide it, and I hid it from everybody. I was afraid to, because I already have enough weaknesses, you know what I mean? Then I got that too. And everybody just pick on me, scared to death. You know what I mean? They got me bad enough as it was, you know what I mean? So if I'm scared to death, hiding from my shadow, they're going to get me even worse. And I can lay here and feel like something wants to kill me, or something wants to get me. And I don't know what the fuck it is. And I feel vulnerable and exposed and stuff. And then I get in a little tiny place somewhere in the dark. It's fucked up. But at least this interview will be different than a lot of them. I want to come to Australia really bad.
Yeah, I can't believe you haven't been here. You've got fans here.
I know the diet Enuff came over there, I heard, right before the pandemic. And I'm sorry about that. It's not my fault.
Yeah,
I'm not going to slam and rip on him, though.
Yeah, it's all good. Your debut is very popular in Australia. I mean, Enuff's debut was very popular over here. It caused,
really?
It had a big impact. Yeah, there are a lot of bands that after that came out that changed their sound, because I think that was the meeting point between, certainly the image is one thing, and you get asked about the image all the time, so I won't go down that pathway.
Oh, the image? Yeah, it's been there, done that with that stuff. It was a mistake, paid dearly for it, and that's all there is to know about the image, But
the reality is you were really the meeting point between Black Sabbath, the Ramones, and the Beatles.
That works for me. So you hear the punk rock in it too, right?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah,
yeah, that's seen. I've everybody always doesn't hear the punk rock in it, but it's totally punk rock. I got total fucking attitude, snotty little fucking attitude,
Yeah,
let's throw a chimp on the Barbie.
A chimp, a shrimp. The funny thing is, in Australia, we call them prawns. You see, that was a marketing thing that Paul Hogan did around Crocodile Dundee for
it's
North
shrimp?
Americans. Well, most Australians, I think if you said shrimp, would have some awareness of what it is, but we'd never call them shrimp. They're called prawns.
Oh, I thought it was chimp.
Nah, shrimp.
Chimpanzee. I thought you guys are over there eating fucking monkeys and shit. I don't know. Smear a little Vegemite on it.
Vegemite. Well, you know about Vegemite. Yeah, I have that most mornings. Yeah, that's fairly uniquely Australian, isn't it?
Well, you guys can't live without it because I've had a lot of fans that come over here and we'll meet them or something and they got their Vegemite with them. You know what I mean? So I only know about that from that Men at Work song, Vegemite sandwich.
You sing that well. Have you sung that song before?
Just fucking around. You know what I mean?
That's how he sings.
Oh, my shit's clipping out. Sorry.
You're right.
I can't see
Hay, I think
anything.
his name is.
Yeah, he was great though. They just came and went so fast, you know. But I've seen him like in Ringo's band or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Holland Hay. Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah, I play covers, so I play all that stuff. Yeah.
I love the Vines. The Vines, they were from your.
Gosh, the Vines. Yeah, we might disagree on that point. I didn't like them at all, to be honest with you.
I liked some of the music. I didn't. I didn't dig. I thought the Meltdowns were interesting. You know, I mean,
Craig Nichols,
the music.
Craig Nichols, yeah.
And I liked Jet. Jet were cool. Yeah,
good debut, great debut.
Loved the Olivia Newton-John. That was my growing up crush. You know, probably my first time I masturbated was probably Olivia Newton-John.
Going back in the time machine. There you go. Yeah. Olivia Newton-John. Kylie Minogue. Have you heard of Kylie?
I've heard of her, but that's a little later in the thing where I don't know how I used to watch and I've seen Olivia Newton-John and everybody, basically on TV, and then with the Vine, somebody turned me onto it and I would listen to some of it. I don't have any records, when I was a kid, I couldn't afford records, and when I'm older now, I don't listen to music. It's like my job. So when I'm not doing my job, I'm kicking it and watching shows and TV or just fucking around doing all kinds of projects and activities and stuff. Got to fill the time.
Yeah. So what takes up most of your time these days? Is it the recording, writing songs, getting things organized around your music, or are you doing other things? These
days, right now, currently, interviews. These interviews are taking up most of my time, but I'm grateful for them. You know what I mean? I won't go a period of time where there's none, and then I got a bunch like this because we haven't ever released a solo single and video with the proper promotion and hiring the proper team and stuff to get it out there. Shit, you know what I mean? We're just relying on a shitty label. They didn't do anything, you know what I mean? So that whole Beautiful Things record, my best record ever, they just fucking might as well have just thrown it right in the garbage, and it's the best thing I ever did. So I'm still supporting that one. So I released a single. That's why I put out a single, so it could still be in support of that record.
Gotcha. Yeah. What label was that?
I choose not to even mention them. You know what I mean? It's that would be a pimpy move of me to mention. I don't want them out there slamming me to their 3 followers they got. No, it's okay. I got no hard feelings with them. They just weren't able to do anything for me, and except take a percentage of the money. You know what I mean? And I barely make any money anyway with this shit. So, it's like, forget that. So now we're doing it in the house, and so far doing really well.
Yeah, you're doing a great job with it all at the moment.
Yeah,
but that's such a trend, Donnie, with very talented artists like yourself, to be fucked over by the industry. The industry is extremely predatory, as you're well aware, and people look at you as an earn. They don't look at you as an artist promoting something that can actually connect with people. And from this conversation that we had up top, it's extremely meaningful, the fact that you're making music.
Well, that's all I care about is as far as this business goes. It's all I care about is the artistic. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a rich and famous rock star. I mean, it's nice to have money, but I don't need much, and anytime I've had money, just take care of my family or I'll probably spend it all on drugs is what I used to do, but I don't need that much. It's the thing that gets me off is the creative, when that magic happens and there's another great song, and that's how I get in it. And when it connects to somebody out there, when somebody gets the song and he understands what I'm talking about, and it affects that I consider that a success. you know.
What are you talking about, or what are you singing about? It might be self-evident, but I need to ask the question. With the single
What am I
Party
singing
Time.
about? Well, it depends on what song it is.
So Party Time. What are you singing about in that one?
I'm singing to everybody. Let's party. You know what I mean? It's very it's much simpler than most of the stuff that I've done, but you know, I've been kind of trying to come up with this song for a long time. Just an anthem of something like, you know, we are the champions. We will rock you. I want to rock and roll all night, and ain't nothing but a good time. You know, something simple like that other people can, any genre of music can, you know, bang their heads to and sing and, you know, and chant. And it took a while to come up with this one. It just came to me like all songs do. And I could just hear the potential in this party time, you know, just have a good time. And how can you, who couldn't like a party? You know, who doesn't want a party? So it's got a little bit of a soul feel to it in the verses and shit. There's a soul sort of Motown-y type thing. And I like it. I think it's a good song, but I think it's very commercially marketable, especially with the video and stuff. And I'd like to get it in a commercial or something, you know, like a beer commercial or something on TV or a sporting thing or something like that. And you know, there's a lot of guys do, and that's where, and then you probably bring in a little bit of revenue, you know what I mean? And then I can, if there's money to not worry, then I can just make music and release it. I wouldn't even charge people for anything except for the fact that somebody's got to pay the bills and stuff like that, you know?
If someone was, you might have already answered this question, by the way, but if someone was yet to become acquainted with your solo material, where would you say was a great starting point?
Get this new flash drive that I'm just releasing. Mm-hmm. It's let me show you. Just releasing this. I already put out the pre-sales. I can't see anything. This is my flash drive.
Yep.
It's a little thing that goes into the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is also a meet and greet and VIP and shit laminate if you come to my shows. You know what I mean? So it's not only your flash drive, it's also that VIP meet and greets and stuff like that. Anything, maybe even a mission or whatever. But also there's all 5 of my studio records, solo records are on there. You know, Just Enough, Wrapped Around My Middle Finger, the White Album, Beautiful Things. And there's one called Extra Strength that I did where I sing the Strength album only, like with just an acoustic or a piano or something, you know, it's simple and brought back down. And then there's a 6th record that half of it is like demos from some of the records. So you can hear the demo form. And then the other half of that, and I think there's like between 8 and 10 brand new songs. So it's like a new record. It's just, I didn't use the big production and expensive production. I did it here. Hear those songs here, and they were in my demos. But I mean, anybody that's buying this thing is probably going to be a pretty decent fan, you know, big fan stuff. So the demos, they're listenable. They sound good. You know what I mean? They're just not all that super, you know, like my last record. You know, but you know, that costs $15,000-$20,000 to get that record to sound that good. You know what I mean? So if you can hear it and get the because in like the 60s and 70s, they didn't have all that, you know, I mean, the sound of some of these records and stuff. It's the parts. If you have the right parts, it'll sort of help mix itself. You know what I mean? If you overdo it with production or you got the wrong parts, they don't gel together right. And it's like magic. It's like actual magic when things click and go, ooh, it's magic. And it's just like abracadabra and something. You know, out of nowhere, all of a sudden everything starts happening, and then the next thing and the next thing. It's really great experience. You know, each time when I put the parts together and it comes together and I listen to it, I'm done. I'm like, fucking, there's another one. You know what I mean? Just keep going. Let's add another one and another one. But usually, by the time you write and demo a song, then by the time you mix that and stuff, now it's going to be probably a year or less, a little less till you're recording that song for real in the big studio, bringing a big production, you know what I mean? And then it's going to probably be a year from that time till people can hear it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're usually going from your demos to your full production during the end of the last record's run. You know what I mean? That's when the new batches will come. And then so it just keeps going, and I can't stand that. And when I'm done with a song, I want everybody to hear it right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And talking about the way I'm taking it, you're talking about the alchemy of songwriting and getting everything right prior to actually pressing record. So on that note, what was the band that helped you conjure Party Time?
I don't know. Probably just my same influences that I use, that I have in me to write, most songs, and there's also, you got to consider the great beyond, whatever is out there that gives me these song ideas. You know what I mean? It's like I can hear them in my head when they come. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. All of a sudden this idea comes into my head and it's like I heard it before. And then I got to sit down and do the work and get it on my little phone recorder. And then I do the work and put it together. And that's where my experience and knowledge and everything comes in. And then I sing it, of course. But a lot of parts of it will come to me, out of thin air, so I don't know if it's something working through me, something working with me, something. But I mean, it's definitely one thing that I think it surely isn't it's just me being such a genius that I can come up with all this great stuff. There's got to be some other explanation. I can't even tie my shoes without being scared to death these days, so how am I going to, and people tell me I don't give myself enough credit. But
it sounds like it, mate.
I just
more credit. Yeah.
I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? It's like, there's a lot of things that happen in my life. Like I got a peek at the other side. I died and went to this other realm and then came back, was revived and stuff. And I seen the little bit of knowing that I came back out of that situation with was a knowing. I know it's there. That's all I need. That's all I needed to know. You know what I mean? And so
what happened to cause that?
I drowned and so I could see myself. I could see my body, like the stories that you hear. I could see it, and I was kind of like coming out. And it's like it's not when you leave the body, there's no bets are off. On like you don't need to see something, you don't need to hear it, you don't need to speak, you don't need to this and that, because that's just a thing that in these bodies where we're here, that's just a thing. With that, everything else there's none of that's a thing. Nothing's a thing, and it's hard to explain it, but I still had some sort of an identity. You know what I mean? I was still aware of I was me. You know what I mean? And then sucked back, and I was never been so bummed out in my life. But that was enough for me to know. And my other experiences sometimes when I'm working really long times and it feels like somebody's next to me and we're working together, you know what I mean? Coming up with ideas and trying this and that. And I'll be talking to whatever it is, and going back and forth ideas. And then I realize, no, there's nobody here. What am I talking up or something? But after I stop getting high and shit like that, and then I know that it's not that. And I'm either just batshit insane, but the results are the songs, you know what I mean?
Indeed.
And they connect. But like I was saying, I know that's just from that experience and other experiences I've had in my life, like where, something saved my life, I was going to go down these stairs, these real steep stairs that broke one day. And I had all this shit in my hands and I was going down these stairs. I was on my way down. Here it goes. Something pushed me back up the stair, you know what I mean? And things like that, little spirits and shit like that. So that's the biggest problem that people have is even the ones that are, the biggest Bible thumpers, the ones that have the most faith and the ones that are doing things right and stuff. Still, they don't know. Nobody knows, you know what I mean? It's called faith. They have faith, but it's, I don't want to get into too much about that. It's just all the religions and everything. It's not, none of that was on the money. It was more of it was simpler than that. It was much simpler than that.
Yeah. Spiritual awareness. You're connected to the cosmos, Donnie. You're aware of things.
it's a main energy source, and we come from this main energy source. So that would be God. I think we're all energy. Everything is energy. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of how it, it's all about It's all about connection. Everything is connected. It's supposed to be connected, but then there's weak links. There's broken links in the chain with every third, fourth guy who's doesn't have any spirituality. So he doesn't know to try to connect and thinks there's nothing there and this and that. And so he's not mindful of anything. And the door is not open to possibilities for a person like that. You know what I mean? And then there's other people that I think come from some other energy source that are just parasites, that can't get enough. Multi-billionaires that just fucking people over and shit. And it just can't eat enough. They got to have more and more and more. This is my ideology. I think it makes a lot of sense. And, but I know enough to give me that knowing, so that I try, if I could pass that on to you or other people and really let you guys, if you can go in my head and know what I know, it's like it would change the world, and I would probably be disappear. Some religion would take me out. Man.
How old were you when you had the drowning experience?
Like 25 or something.
Okay, so fully fledged adult. So you lived enough life to have a lot of context. That what was happening to you was.
Those years, it was things were a fog. It's hard for me to see a timeline on all those years. It just went in periods of before Enough's Enough, before the fame and stuff like that. Then life which was that was terrible. And then there's the big years, and that's all one big bloke and one big wash. And then it's the years afterwards that I see it. So I picture everything in like three big memories with stories in between of each. And then there's now, which is everything's totally different. There's no drugs. There's no, the drinking and all the chicks and all the, the whole debauchery and stuff that I loved so much, but that's, you got to let a lot of that go and get older and stuff, and trying to hang in there. And, as long as I keep it cool and I keep myself in the right frame of mind and the right environments and the right people around me and stuff, then I don't have any worries of going back to that kind of life. I don't need meetings. I don't need to go to NA. I don't need this and that, because I've such a distaste for it. I did it so long and turned it into such an ugly, messy piece of shit of a fucking life. You know what I mean? Even when the good things were happening, I still felt lonely, and I still felt, it's them against me and stuff. And that would be the case often. And it's the vicious circle, the anxiety that would come with that, you know what I mean? And then, but I always, even though it's like being around people, it freaks me out. It scares me. I'm scared the whole time. I'm signing things. I'm taking pictures and stuff. And it's like, I'm brave facing it. You know what I mean? But with the fans, at least with the fans, I feel connected, and they make me right away. They make me feel okay, and it's safe. I feel safe with my fans, and I feel, safe and like, just like with you, you told me you had this anxiety stuff. I felt like a bond right away, a connection with you. You know what I mean? And that makes me able to relax, and you know what I mean?
I do understand, and I think a lot of, I do, brother. But I think a lot of my issues stem from growing up, like experiences as a kid, and that's probably the same for you.
You spend your adult life getting over your childhood. That's basically what it is. My childhood was shit. A cliche, just a shitty upbringing. Not upbringing. The wrong kind of supervision when I was supervised, and then no supervision, you know what I mean? And then boom, into this other, then all of a sudden I'm Donnie V and, MTV and radio and stuff. And it's just, everything whizzes by, and I've never been prepared or caught up for something when something happens. I've never been ready for it, except now. Now I am, but although a lot of the opportunities and the possibilities and all this other shit with the business and everything like that, a lot of them are gone and dead. You know what I mean? It's, but I still, now I'm able to, I forget what I'm saying.
No, you're talking very eloquently about the issues that you faced growing up and how that morphed into.
Oh yeah,
your career took over then, and then you probably haven't. I think what happens is that we bury things, mate. And then as we grow a lot older and we become more vulnerable and aware of who we are in relation to what we are not, a lot of those vulnerabilities, mate, they just come to the surface. And the tough guy in us just tries to shove it back down, but it just bubbles up like a bloody volcano.
Yeah, and then it blows. The pressure's got to go somewhere, and when it blows, it's a fucking shit show. You know what I mean? But up until then, you're just like hanging on by a thread a lot of times, and of course the self-medicating takes on a life of its own. So you're like two different people. You're yourself, and then there's this other person on top of you that's fucked up and stuff. But it gets to a point where that part of you is running the show, and the other one doesn't make as much of an appearance. You know what I mean? Yourself. And so it's not you're really not present in it. And it's kind of like I'm observing and watching the movie like everybody else is perceiving me. Excuse me. It's like I'm watching a movie. You know what I mean?
That is so true. That is the best description I've ever heard of anxiety. Honestly, Donnie, that's exactly what it's like. You take on the third person, the persona of the third person, and you watch yourself have this experience and you think, why can't I control this better than I can control it? Why can't I stop it?
Yeah. It's like, nowadays what I do is when people ain't around or something like that, I'm narrating or I'm directing like a director, and I'm directing myself. All right, you got to do this. All right, let's change in the guitar strings. All right, take this E off, and I'm talking to myself. I mean, let's change that string. Let's put this on right. And this, sometimes I can't even function without telling myself the next action or this and that, do this, now do this and do that. And then sometimes it's fine, it just depends when it comes though. And what usually these bouts of anxiety, they come on, and sometimes it'll last for a week. Sometimes it'll just last for a day, but you're so revved that when I would come out of that, instantly I go into a certain period of depression. You know what I mean? Because things build up on you, and I'm scared of the phone. I'm scared to take care of business. I'm not going in my emails. I'm not doing this and that. So that shit's building up and coming at me like, why aren't you taking care of your emails? Why aren't you answering your texts? Why aren't you doing your things and stuff like that? And like today, I would have blown this off today. It's just the way that I felt and everything, but I'm not doing that anymore. And through the grace of God, you happen to understand that shit. You know what I mean? So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that do. And that's what I was saying earlier, that there's not enough awareness for mental health. There's just not, at least in this country, people don't take that. If they think of it as anxiety, it's like, oh, don't be a pussy, just get it up, walk it off. It'll be all right. Everything will be fine. It's not real, this and that. Well, sure. That already, I already know all that. That's not doing me any good. You know what I mean? It's like I'm still waiting for something, whatever is going to happen to get me. And it sounds stupid when you say it to some people, and after a while, it starts to sound old, and where they're taking it, perceiving it as just an excuse or something like that. And they don't fucking know. I don't know what you got to do to convince people, but then the mentally ill, then they'll do something that wreaks havoc. And then when your anxiety is affecting other people, like schizophrenia and stuff. I have a great friend who's schizophrenic, and what goes on in her head is ridiculous. I couldn't even imagine, but when you're affecting other people, like some action you did because you're out of your mind, you don't know what you're doing right, and it does something that fucks something up. You know what I mean? So that's when people kind of will listen a little bit more as to what's going on with you and shit like that,
Just find people have a lack of empathy and sensitivity toward what people like us are going through and what our experience is, which is why I don't share it. And I try, like you, mate, I think the word that needs to be used is, I think we use a lot of courage to get through the day. We have to.
Well, there's also an empowerment of nothing to lose. When you feel like you have nothing to lose, it's very liberating. It makes you dangerous. You know what I mean? It's like everybody else has something to lose. You have nothing to lose. There's nothing can happen worse by me taking this action or doing this and that, And so you're taking more steps and more chances and things that going against your anxiety and acting on it, like just jumping off into it and stuff like that. And as opposed to scared of everything and having reservations but when you do that, like I did, when you add alcohol or something like that, I'm jumping into everything. You know what I mean? I'm not having any reservations, and, I don't know where to draw the line before you know it. All hell broke loose. It's a shit show.
Yeah, I hate that judgment about the lifestyle choices that are made and people making an assumption that leads to anxiety and depression. They're like, it's bullshit. There are underlying issues that lead towards self-medication. And it's that balance that we try to get right that can be very difficult to get right, as you well know. And eventually you get to a point where you start seeking guidance through counselling, through spiritual matters, whether it be religious or what have you. But ultimately you're still you, and you've still got to turn to yourself.
Yeah, therapy and all that stuff. Yeah, the therapy and all those things like that are, if you have a good therapist, you're basically, they'll guide you in directions so that the things that you're learning stuff about yourself are revelations of your own. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I get this, or that's where this came from, or this and that. If you can start to understand certain things about your issues, you understand where they stem from, things like that. And, then then at least me, I have a chance to try to take it down and build it back up, into something that works, as opposed to, something that's broken and fucked up. But yeah, I got diagnosed late in life. I didn't even, who thinks, everybody just assumes and calls you a piece of shit so long or whatever, it's just the negativity and stuff. And it's just crazy. You start believing you're just crazy. You're just an asshole. You're just fucked up and this and that. And then I went through this big rehabilitation course or class thing that was lasted 2 to 3 years with jail and everything that was included in that. And learned a lot about, I had functioning autism. I got manic depression. I got bipolar depression. I got ADHD. I got this anxiety, and you name it. And I got it all. And then when you look at it in that perspective and in that regards, then I I get proud of myself. It's like, look at all the things that you're overcoming and you're still able to do this, and it might be terrifying, or it might be a lot of negative experiences or lonely, this and that, but I'm proud of myself because I'm overcoming all this shit, and I'm taking care of business and trying not to let that, you know what I mean? It's just, you can understand it a little bit better. Then you don't necessarily have to own all of the shit that goes along with it and all the things that are caused by it. You know what I mean? It's like if you have cancer or this and that, you know what I mean? You can't help this or you can't help that, you know what I mean? Because you've got this cancer or you got this disease or this, like COVID even. You can't help that. It's not something that you made a choice to do or have. And, and people take that seriously. People take an illness like that seriously. People take all kinds of illnesses seriously, even, but mental health, they're trying to nip it by medicating the kids early, though. So many kids are all just, instead of supervision, instead of reprimanding and things like that, and is given medication and just relying on the good graces of a kid. You know what I mean? Like a little child, and that just becomes a drug addict. There's another drug addict for the rest of his life. He knows I have issues, I have problems. I take a pill and I feel better. So there's your drug addict, you know what I mean? And it just keeps going and going and going. But like it was with me, but once I understand and know it, I'm not ashamed and I'm not embarrassed of this. I'm just embarrassed. Like my eyes are flicking or my hands are weird. And I'm going to put my glasses on now anyways. My eyeballs are spinning. I apologize for that.
No, gosh, no, mate. No, it's interesting. You raise a very good point there. Nobody accuses people who have cancer or any other sort of multiple sclerosis, any other sort of affliction which they have ultimately. And people can argue that lifestyle choices lead to things like cancer, sure, what have you. But ultimately, they're not decisions that you would ever make to have that affliction. Nobody wakes up one day and says, you know what, I want to have cancer or multiple sclerosis.
Right. Nobody wakes up and says they want to have this either. You know what I mean?
But it doesn't get viewed like that, does it, by society? Because that's my point about the lifestyle
You're left
choices.
accountable. You're left there accountable for everything that's going down and everything. You know, when you're held accountable, it's like you're the one that's doing all this. You're the one that's messing things up. You're the one that did that. Hold on.
You're right.
Turn my phone down. Sorry about that.
No worries. Yeah.
I don't even know how to do that right now. I can't even see. I don't have my glasses. You know, but you get a break when you understand things and you know you have an issue and you know that you're not 100% accountable and you might know that. But if anybody really cares about you or and you have a knowing about this kind of stuff. So then you're kind of off the hook a bit. You know what I mean? It's like you have to deal with it and you have to treat it and stuff, but you're off the hook, you know, just like cancer came and got him, just like a heart attack came and got him. So it's not something that I need to be ashamed of. You know what I mean?
No, definitely not. Absolutely not. Yeah. Just on in as little or as much detail as you choose. Are you married? Do you have, good support on a personal level?
I was married one time and, it's not for me. It's on the cards for me. I've had a few long relationships and at the end, I'm married to what I do. I'm married to my art and my craft. So the relationships suffer because if you're with a woman, needs to come first. They need to come first, and nothing can come first before this. This is who I am. This is what everything about is. Probably why you like me, things like that. You know what I mean? So nothing comes first. And then, in a relationship, and then the more you delve into that and aren't attending to this, then what you're doing sort of becomes like you're doing a bad thing. Like they're jealous of it. You know what I mean? There's like a jealousy of it when you're doing, it's like, doing that again, blah, blah, blah. And it becomes like a bad thing that you're doing. And yeah, so that's not for me. Having to answer to somebody for everything, you know what I mean? That's not for me. Having to go through the motions and, I'm kind of a touch me not, you know what I mean? And having to go, it's like a feral cat being held and petted and this and that, and having stuck inside. It's like the whole time I'm like, but I have been in love one time and it was pretty strong and is powerful and is wonderful of a feeling that true kind of love is. It's also very dangerous because that particular thing is, if it's that powerful up, it has the power to be that powerful down. I mean, and where it takes you out, you're just debilitated, there he goes. There you got once again to the mental health and stuff, but no, relationships are great. I believe in everybody should have one, but it's not necessarily for me,
Yeah, no, I'm hearing you. But you've got a good support network around you these days. You've got some good mates, as we say.
I do these days. I got this close circle of people who all really believe and believe enough to put the energy in to help me. And if I didn't, I don't have the wherewithal or the responsibilities to do anything. You know what I mean? I just fucking fuck off all day, So I need these people around me, and I know, and I can trust them because I've had people around me in the past who have been in my circle that I trusted and with my life and wasn't looking. And those are the ones that have stuck it in my back, and because you're not looking at them, you're not paying attention. You're looking for everything else because these guys are, these are in your team, you're in your corner, you know what I mean? But that's the ones that hurt the most, and that changes your whole, changes your whole perspective and how you are able to trust this person or give everything to this person or reservations or just beaten down where you're damaged. You know what I mean? You're damaged for the rest of your life. And that's what's been happening. But fortunately, I got really good people around me right now, and I feel safe and protected as long as I do my job, It's been long. It's been a long, hard life. It's been a really long time, with struggling with shit like that,
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. Yeah, no, you've been incredibly brave talking about these things in this conversation. But Michael's asked me to do a hard stop. What time's it over there now? Is it about 2:45 p.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's asked me to do a hard stop at 10 to 3, so 5 minutes time. So unfortunately, I've got to wrap things up. It's a shame because there's plenty more things that I'd love to talk about. We haven't even touched on.
Listen, you have my email now. Send me an email or something. And if you want to do this stuff, if you have some more that you want to talk to me about, or you want to do a part 2 or in the future, anything, you can contact me direct, and as long as you CC Michael, so he knows what's going down. But, there's no problem there if, we didn't talk a lot about music. And so we should probably have another one where we talk about music, and you can have 2-part or something like that if you want.
I'd like to do that.
But for me.
But I mean, when you go there and you share what you have shared in this chat here, it's incredibly empowering for people. You understand? Because when you show vulnerability, mate, people relate to that in ways that it's so much more powerful than if you're just talking about regular everyday things, including the music, to be honest with you, because you're sharing part of your soul as you've done.
Yeah, well, usually it's like, how did you first meet Chip? How did you do this? What was like your first record? Blah, blah, blah. How do you write your songs? This and that. Now it's like, what do you got going on? How did you do the video? How'd you do this and that? And, when you got 3 or 4 a day, you're answering those same questions, over and over and over again. But I get lucky that there'll be some different things in each one, it's why, like, I try to connect with them before the thing even starts, and tell them where I'm comfortable. I'll say anything. You can ask me anything. I don't hide anything. I mean, it's direct and like I said, nothing to lose, but there's certain things that I love talking about a lot more. And that's like real stuff where I'm actually feeling a connection and stuff like this one. It was refreshing to just talk about this and not, but I need to be pushing my product, So I got a new video, new single. It's called Party Time. It's a lot of fun. It's a really great video. And it's a Batman themed thing, and it all came together in a magical way. And Cadillac Productions, and got a flash drive releasing that with all my records and everything basically that I've done. It's all on one drive, and it's a laminate, and you can get that all at my website, DonnieVie.com.
Yeah, I'll put up a link at the end of the episode so everybody knows where to go. I've seen your website, great website. And, you got some good support around you these days with Michael from the sound of things, at least helping you spread the good word.
Send me a kangaroo tooth. I can make glasses out of it, a necklace or something.
I'll try. I don't think I've ever seen a kangaroo tooth. Probably a crocodile tooth. There you go.
They're out there all over the place. Just get out there and beat the shit out of one and give me a tooth.
They come up to my yard here, actually. My daughter and I sometimes see them late at night. We go bushwalking and see them. Yeah, they're everywhere here. Yeah.
They'll kick your ass, won't they? If you fuck with them.
They're probably out west and in the central, the outback they might. But around here, mate, they're just scared of you, so they just bolt. You never. Maybe
you ever ate one? Did you ever eat one?
Yeah, definitely.
Have you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they sell them in supermarkets. Yeah, we're the only country that sells the animal that's on our coat of arms in the supermarket to eat.
What do they call it? Like, give me 2 pounds of what is it? Kangaroo.
Just kangaroo meat. Yeah, roo meat, whatever. Yeah, people will know what you're talking about.
I can't fathom that. Hey, give me a pound of kangaroo meat. Take some.
It's not popular, but it's definitely there.
A little koala bear.
I haven't had that. I don't know whether you could eat that. You'd probably get killed if you ate a koala bear. I think they're just one of those animals. They are around here too. There's signs up around here saying please drive slowly because koala bears cross. I've never seen one. So
yeah, well, that's because most of them are gone, and they live in the trees they live in, and that's like a permanent home for them. And when that stuff's gone, they know where the fuck to go. And there's other ones that have their territory, and they're so cute. But I think what they eat is poison to those eucalyptus and stuff. It's kind of like from what I understand or remember, I thought it was like it's like a poison or something.
Mate, we better leave it there just so I can get to the next one. I know I think it's about 10 minutes away or something. But, look, I'll send you a link once it's posted if that's okay. And I'd love to do part 2. Yeah.
Maybe you can help me orchestrate getting the fuck over there, and
I'd like to try to help be part of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to come over there and just hang, those beaches and stuff. And tried the kangaroo meat. That won't happen. Do you throw it on the Barbie?
We do throw it on the barbie. You got to slow cooker meat though. You can't cook it too quickly because it's very tough. It's very, very sort of.
Yeah, you're a better man than me, man. Sorry.
All good, brother.
Okay, brother.
Mate, it's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been a very pleasant surprise. I've got to be honest with you. I haven't had a conversation like this one in 600 interviews, just so you know. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it too. I actually feel better after venting some of that stuff and talking to you about it. It just felt like we were having a discussion about some common issue that we have. And then when I start thinking about it, everybody will be watching this conversation. I start getting in my head. I'm like, oh shit, that was, I didn't talk about anything except this shit. But
mate, all right, man. There are so many interviews out there of you talking about your music. It's refreshing for something a bit different, something that we've connected on. But let's keep in touch anyway, Johnny. I'd like to do that. Andy, it's been great pleasure meeting you, and thank you so much for thinking of me and giving me some more exposure out there. And maybe if I could reel in some of the people with anxiety, there's a lot of those to turn them into fans. Mm-hmm. But if you like one thing that I do, get this flash drive, because if you like one thing, you'll love them all. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, no, I'm going to check it out for sure, mate. So I love your music. Please keep making the music, but let's catch up sometime for round 2. Right on, brother. Thank you. All right, thanks, brother. Okay. Good day, mate. No worries, mate. Catch you. Easily one of my favourite conversations that I've had for the podcast. Thanks, Donnie, for going there. I appreciate it, mate. Yes, indeed. So if you suffer from issues relating to anxiety, panic attacks, maybe depression, that sort of thing, I hope that conversation there gave you some deep insight from Donnie's perspective, and I guess I added my own 2 cents as well. Yes, I've had 2 panic attacks in my life and they were fucking awful. So you are totally captive to that experience, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, to be quite honest with you. Maybe my worst enemy. Maybe not my second worst enemy. There you go. Anyway, if you like that conversation, there's not too many more just like that one over at scarsandguitars.com. I can tell you that now because that was quite unique. But there are many more conversations featuring musicians from the world of rock and metal and beyond. For you to wrap your ears around, scarsandguitars.com is the website again. If you could like, subscribe and share, I'd appreciate that. It all helps, but even better, leave a nice comment. My name's Andrew Mackay-Smith and I'm the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast series. Until next time, it is a very goodbye for now.